From BS and Beer Media, it's Top of the Bleachers with Jason and Tucker.
Handoff, Smith coming right, trying to outrun the coverage, makes a cut, gets it. Oh, he's still going all the way. He's going to score. He's got the five.
Let's see what the guys are talking about today.
Yo, yo, yo. Hello. Welcome into the Top of the Bleachers. I'm your host, Jason Big Guthrie. I'm here with my best friend, Tuck Scarbrough, and we're hanging out talking about sports and just talking about life in general. Today we're going to talk about some USA men's basketball and some summer league basketball. We got a top 5 segment. Lots of stuff to talk about. So how you doing, man? You doing all right today? I know you had to go see the doc today. You feeling better?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I had to go do my CT scan today, and turns out I have diverticulitis.
Diverticulitis. I've heard of that.
Yeah, my colon is inflamed. Men out there. I'm 48 years old. You've probably been told this a lot of times. It's time to go to the doctor and get that test done. Well, I'm being forced to do it now. So, because I was one of those guys like, they ain't doing that to me. Well, guess what? They're going to do it to me. And
sometimes they got
yeah, it's better than it can lead to surgery. Like it's a lot like any of these things that you get. If you take care of it, like if I change my diet, if I do this, if I do that, it should be fine. If I ignore it, like some people might do with their diabetes or something like that, then it can lead to something serious like a surgery. So hopefully just some antibiotics, change in my diet, lose some more weight. Man, did I tell you I'm down in the 230s? I haven't been in the 230s since 10th grade. 10th grade.
Wow. I
was in the 230s. I'm down in the 230s, and now that I gotta do this bland diet for a few days, I might get my ideal weight would be like 215. I think if I got to 215, I'd be happy, like ecstatic,
Yeah. I don't know. I got down to 205 one time, and I thought, man, I look too skinny.
See,
I'm running about 280 right now. So,
see, my brother, he was like close to 400. He might even top 400 pounds, and he's down to like, I want to say he was like 189 or 190. His doctor actually told him he needed to have some cheat days and, eat a little bit because the doctor told him that because he was getting too skinny.
Wow.
So, but he had that gastric bypass surgery thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I guess it's probably better than the hernia, but still.
Well, I don't have to.
You know what it is.
So. Yeah, I don't have to have surgery, so I still got my streak going. 48 years, no surgeries. So I like that.
Yeah, that's good. I have not been feeling very well either. Yesterday, I don't know what happened. I just got sicker than a dog. We were trying to move some stuff, and I just had no energy. I had to go sit down. I ended up getting sick later. Had it coming out both ends, if you know what I mean. And then I went to bed, and I slept like 15, 16 hours or something like that. And I don't normally sleep like that. I'm like a 4 or 5 hour sleep. That's it.
Yeah.
So I crashed out, and I'm feeling better. I still don't feel 100%, but I feel better. So I think I'm getting over it. But...
Can I ask you a question? Like you said, you went to move some stuff for your mom. If it was anything like it was down here in Arkansas, it was 90 something degrees. Did you?
It was.
Have you been hydrating? Have you been drinking water?
I didn't do anything before I got there. I had been drinking water. I bought a water on the way.
Yeah, but it's actually the day before. It's actually the day before. Like people make that mistake a lot, especially young athletes. They think that, I can party the night before, and as long as I drink some water that day, it'll be okay. It's not like that. You have to hydrate like the day before.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you described Well, not so much the throwing up and the diarrhea, but the rest of it kind of sounds like heat exhaustion. But maybe you got like
Or,
E.
I don't
coli
know.
or something like that.
I
Maybe
thought
you
my
got,
sugar was messed up. My wife's like, maybe you got COVID. I mean, I don't know. So
did you ever lose your taste or
I
anything?
had a low grade. I think I had a low grade fever because I just didn't feel good. You know how you
Mhm.
don't feel good, you know. But I don't think I ever. I don't know. It could be flu-like symptoms, I guess you could say. But I feel a lot better today. I took off work this morning just to sleep some more. I went back to bed, slept some more. So yeah, but I'm feeling a lot better now, and it could be from the I don't know. It could be from the pizza delivery that we got a couple nights ago too. I don't know. Did I tell you about that? Did I tell you
Yeah.
about the guy, the pizza guy, the delivery guy? So he pulls up in the drive, and I'm like, hey, he's like, he goes, you owe me X amount. I'm like, okay, here you go, and I gave him a decent tip. And he goes, well, since you did that, he goes, do you know where dragon milk comes from? I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you know those short-legged cows, that dragon milk. I'm like, what?
He dad joked you for a tip.
He totally did. I don't know if he does that for everybody that tipsy, but my goodness. And then he told me another one, but I was so flabbergasted by the first one, I couldn't remember. I couldn't even hear what he said. I was just like, this guy's talking about a dragon and stuff. What's going on? So anyway, that was my funny story with the pizza guy.
Well, Lacey and I were walking into Kroger here in Conway, and there's a guy I've never seen him before in my life. Okay, and the people do this to me a lot. I must have one of those faces where it's like, oh, he looks like a nice guy. I'll talk to him or whatever. But we're walking in, and he's standing beside his car, and he's got his car door open. He's got his phone in his hand. And he looks like he's about to get in and leave, and he looks over at me and he says, "Hey, I don't know if you got the update, but Richard Simmons died."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, you mean sweating to the oldies guy?" Yep. I was like, that's terrible.
That's strange news.
The dude gets in his car and drives off. I
This is
step up,
this is a complete stranger.
complete stranger.
That's
Just
weird.
he felt like I needed to know that. And now I don't know if I look like a Richard Simmons fan. Like maybe I was sweating to the oldies when he was,
Maybe you thought you were the right age group.
maybe he thought I was the right age group. Maybe it affected him so much he needed to tell somebody about Richard Simmons. But it was
Wow.
just the oddest thing. And you know how I feel about mental health. So I was just friendly to him. I was, like, hey man, that's sad to hear. Sad to hear.
I know. Look what BS and Beer said. They said, so we're
Yeah.
gonna need people to come off the top of the bleachers and help us out. We're dropping like flies around here. Man, you ain't lying. It's been crazy. I want to get away from all this sick stuff, start feeling better again.
I'm telling you, man, it's something about. I texted my pastor. My pastor is a very nice man named Keith Hicks, and Keith, every time he sees me, he asks me, how you feeling? And he's been, as I'm sure he's been praying for me because he's my pastor. So I texted him, let him know I had diverticulitis, and he had told me like a couple of weeks ago. He was like, he says, this sounds like an old man thing. He said, but every morning you need to start your day off with some Metamucil. Okay?
Oh my gosh.
So I'll be daggum if after all this, I was talking to the lady, the nurse, and she's telling me what I got and everything. And she tells me, you probably need to start your day off with like some Metamucil or something like that. So I texted my pastor and I said, well, it looks like we're Metamucil brothers.
Can you have coffee?
Yeah, I can have coffee. Coffee doesn't bother me any.
Help you get going in the mornings.
It's the little, and they recommend a high brand diet that they want me to avoid fruits with seeds in it, which sucks because I love strawberries and blackberries and all that stuff.
That would kind of stink.
Yeah. I'm
Speaking
supposed to avoid nuts. Oh, man. Okay, whatever.
Something else I wanted to bring up. Speaking of fruit, peach jam is going on this week. You know what that
Peach
is?
Jam. What's Peach Jam?
Peach Jam is Adidas and Nike and all those guys. They have their own little tournaments or whatever, but it's all the top high school recruits are all
Oh,
playing in
okay.
these tournaments over this next week or so. So all the
All right,
big
sweet.
name recruits are in there. So
Are they televising it or putting it on YouTube or?
I haven't seen any games, but I bet you could find them somewhere. I haven't really looked for a game yet. I've just been watching for some of the highlights and stuff. But all the coaches have been there. Coach Cal's been there. What brought me up to the thing that I saw someone talking about, I wanted to ask you about this. They said that supposedly high school prospects are not as a high priority anymore because of the transfer portal. And they can go get these older guys with more experience that already proved they can play in college. So they're saying that the like the guys that are ranked like 150 through 300 that usually are really sought after too, a lot of those guys aren't getting the offers that they used to get because of the way the transfer portal. So I'm wondering if it's going to be more and more like that, where you're only going to see these guys go for one or two freshmen, if that even. Some of them, I heard this one coach say he wasn't even worried about that. He's just going to recruit the transfer portal.
Well,
So
it
what do
kind
you
of
think? What do you think?
it kind of makes sense as a coach. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost like having a farm club. Like these kids that are say 150 to 300 go hook up on these smaller schools and get a couple years of playing experience and then get recruited out of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And I can see the top 100 still being relevant because a lot of those guys, especially like the top 50, are probably going to be one and dones.
Yeah.
So you're only going to get those talented kids for 1 year.
Well, those guys will for sure.
So you don't want to miss out on say the top 50. But I can totally see how the transfer portal is totally affecting that. Plus,
It's going to change a lot.
wouldn't you rather spend your NIL money off on an older player who's got some experience that you only have to teach your system to? You don't have to teach the basics and the fundamentals and all that stuff too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there could be a plus for that for sure. I don't know. Some of these guys are super talented that are coming out. So next year's class is, man, that top 10 is unbelievable. And
Yeah, the draft show for next year, if we do another draft show, oh, that's going to be fun, man. There are a ton of good kids that are going to be coming out next year.
Yeah, there is. It's a big list.
But yeah, I can totally see a coach saying, number 99 on the list is pretty good, but this kid from, JUCO State University over here, he's he'll be a fifth year, grad transfer. That coach plays the same style of ball that we play. I can totally see how a coach would be more interested in those.
I can see how the transfer portal, it's going to change. It's changed to everything really, because these kids are going to be jumping around each year. It's going to be like free agency every year, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Until they
come up with some
a 2-year deal or something.
Yeah, if they got to come up with some sort of contract or something that
they will. They have
especially if you're going to spend, a good sum of your NIL money on that kid. That kid needs to make some sort of commitment to you to where you don't have to worry about him doing a one and done on you or something like that.
Yeah, I could see that happening. 2 years, for sure.
I also think that if you're getting NIL money, you should not get a scholarship.
Why you sign 2-year deal? But if you want to go pro, you can. Like, it shouldn't be held against you. But you gotta commit to 2 years, say.
Well, that's fine, but they can't. That money, that NIL money, doesn't need to be guaranteed. Then it needs to be a yearly payment. If you're staying, we'll pay you the rest of your NIL. If you're going pro, then you don't get the rest of your NIL. Because these schools, especially some of these smaller schools, don't have as much NIL money as some of these bigger schools. So you got to you got to level the playing field somewhere. Somewhere down the road, you got to level the playing field.
Yeah, you think they'd have to, even if it's like a salary cap or something. Even I mean, something they're gonna have to do something. But anyway, and then so yeah, Peach Jam's going on. which is cool. I like all that stuff. I like the recruiting stuff. I love that stuff. So, Acuff Jr., the number 4 rated player in the country, is got the crystal ball to go to Arkansas. So we're pumped about that one. And then I've heard of several other ones that have been. Well, he's offered a couple of guys. Cortland Muldrew out of Arkansas. He plays at he was in Arkansas. He's going to Oak Hill to play at their high school for his senior year. And then there's a Sealy. I guess I forget his first name. Sealy is his last name, but they're both, I think, top 100, something like that. Anyway, a lot of recruiting stuff going on right now. But
Dale is making the comment, or BS and Beer Media is making the comment that scholarships are a year-to-year commitment, which is true. I understand that. But if you're a top player and they're going to give you $1 million NIL, then why is the school wasting a scholarship that can go to a kid that can't afford to go to school? That's my point on the scholarships. You just made $1 million NIL money. You can pay your own scholarship. You can pay your own tuition. Okay. The kid at the end of the bench that ain't getting no NIL money, or he's getting some, little pissy amount, well, then maybe you give a scholarship to him. I just don't like the idea of giving a kid $1 million and also paying for his school. Why don't we also give him a car and also a place to live and also
they do that too. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, they already get a dorm room, the best dorm room on campus, by the way. If you've ever toured some of these universities and looked at the sports facilities, it's ridiculous. They already stay in the best room on campus. They get fed the best meals. I mean,
yeah. So no more walk-ons in BS and Beer? No walk-ons at all?
Yeah.
Everybody on scholarship?
Everybody on scholarship.
That'd be all right, I guess. I don't know.
I guess, man. I mean, I'm not in charge of the checkbook. But
No.
I think it's whatever.
It's an interesting topic for sure. So let's jump right into the first segment that we had. We got our top 5 segment this week. We're going to do our top 5 NFL quarterbacks that did not win a Super Bowl. And that's all time.
That's all time. 5. And I think we pretty much all know who number 1's going to be.
I mean, surely number 1.
Surely number 1, right?
Yeah. You want to start? You want to count up or down?
I don't care, because like I told you, I know who number 1 is. The other 4 are just kind of like
number 1. Let's start there then. Daniel Constantine Marino Jr. Dan the man. Dan Marino. Born September 15th, 1961 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Over 61,000 yards, 420 touchdowns. He lost 1 Super Bowl. 33 comebacks, 47 game-winning drives.
Never had a running back,
but he couldn't win the big one. Couldn't win the big Super Bowl.
Never
get back.
Never had that one, as the New York Giants would put it, that one $12 million back that would get.
They didn't have one of them.
Yeah, man, he had to have been one of the greatest of all time, one of the greatest quarterbacks. I mean, his release, is iconic. I mean, the kid, well, I call him a kid. He's older than me, but when you watch the film, he doesn't even really pull the ball back. It stays up by his ear the entire time. He's got it right here. Wrist, touchdown. He was amazing, man. He was amazing.
He was probably one of my favorite players of all time, to be honest. I was a big fan of his when I was a kid, and then him and John Elway. But I love both of them.
Yeah.
So, but I really like Dan Marino. He was number 1.
Yeah.
All right, number 2. James. You want me to go number 2? James Edward Kelly. Jim Kelly. Born Valentine's Day, 1960, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania as well.
Oh, man.
So,
Jim Kelly, man, 4 chances. 4 chances. 4 chances.
Oh no, poor guy.
And he did have a great running back. He had Thurman,
He
man.
did.
Thurman.
They had a good team, man. Their
They had
teams were
great defense. The only problem the Bills had were those Dallas Cowboys. That's the only problem they had.
That is the only problem I had. Or 2 of them anyway.
2 of them.
Yeah, that was my number 2.
All right, Jim Kelly. Like I said, I had the first one ranked. The other 4 you could have put in any order.
Okay, that's fine.
It's all amazing that none of these won a Super Bowl.
No doubt.
So yeah, I can put Jim Kelly as number 2.
Is he on your list?
Yeah, he's on my list. Yeah.
Okay. Well, who else is on your list then?
I got Fran Tarkington. When Fran Tarkington, you want to give his? Is he on your list?
He is on my list. Francis Asbury Tarkington.
All right. What year?
February 3rd, 1940, Richmond, Virginia.
When Fran Tarkington retired from the NFL, he held almost every NFL passing record.
Yep.
Man, never won a Super Bowl. It's amazing. Just amazing to me. Had a great defense. He had years where he had, maybe some people argue, the best offense in the NFL, and they could never get it done.
Didn't they have the Purple People Eaters?
Yeah, they had the Purple People Eaters, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was on my list.
Yeah.
Played 18 seasons. It was weird. He played for the Vikings for like 6 or 7 years. Went to the Giants for like 5 years, and then came back to the Vikings for 6 or 7 years. I thought that was strange too, because there wasn't a lot of free agent moves in the 70s.
No,
for an all-pro quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, he was on my list for sure. He was good, man. His next name is the Scrambler. He was good.
All right.
Okay. Let's see. That makes 3. Then we have the same, right?
Yeah, we have the same. Yeah.
Next on my list, Harold Warren Moon.
I can't believe you got him on your list. He's on my list too, man.
Warren Moon.
Warren Moon, before you go into his stats, is on my list because he was one of my favorite quarterbacks ever.
Absolutely.
Warren Moon was, well, first of all,
spin it.
We, at that time in football, we didn't have a lot of African-American quarterbacks. And when an African-American quarterback did make it to the pinnacle and got to be the starter, it's like all eyes were on him. Like everybody was waiting on him to make a mistake or something like that. And Warren Moon never did, man. He's also has one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history. I'm telling you, Warren Moon he could throw the deep ball. Just look up Warren Moon deep balls, man. He will amaze you. That guy could, he threw a few that it seemed like it was the length of the field.
I know. He had a cannon. I loved Warren Moon. Yeah, Moon and Cunningham both. Cunningham almost made this list.
Cunningham almost made my list too.
I really loved him. I liked him a lot when I was a kid.
He's the only.
I remember one of the first football games I ever watched when I was a kid. I remember asking my grandpa some of the rules, like, what is that? What is the offsides? Like, what is like? It was Philadelphia and Dallas. It was at Dallas, as a matter of fact. Danny White versus Randall Cunningham. And I couldn't tell you who won. I don't even remember who won, but I remember watching that game with my grandpa, and Cunningham was just unbelievable athlete. I think it's that same game where he gets hit and his legs come out from under him and he like catches himself with one hand
and then stands back up, and throws it. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah. The seed was planted that day.
Yeah. But he made my list for sure. Warren Moon. November 18th, 1956. Same birthday as my dad.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Scorpio. 49,000 yards, 291 touchdowns. Dude, he was, before he even came to the NFL, he was Canadian legend up there. When I don't know this for sure, but I think he won a Grey Cup or 2 or something. We looked that up. Do you have anything else on Warren Moon?
No, not you. You named everything else. I'm sorry. I'm getting text about my aunt. I have an aunt that
Uh-oh.
probably pretty close to the end, and I keep getting texts about her. Sorry.
I'm sorry, man.
It's life, man. It's the way life happens. She's done chemo for. It's my Aunt Claudia. Love you, Aunt Claudia. If you happen to see this, she's done several rounds of chemo, and it's not getting any better. And the doc wanted to do more, and she said, what's the outcome if I do? And he was like, you might get a month.
Oh, geez.
And she was like, well, I ain't doing that no more. So I got to make a trip down to Fort Smith within the next week or so I can see her and love on her.
Well, you should. That's tough. Cancer's a tough thing, man.
Sucks. Cancer sucks.
Cancer sucks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was 4 out of the 5.
That was 4.
I bet you we got the last one too.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Antonio Romero Romo.
No, I did not
Tony
put
Romo. You didn't put Tony Romo on there? I thought for sure you put Tony Romo on there.
No, I thought about it. I did. Romo had great stats. He actually was, an all-star every year. They don't call it a Pro Bowler every year. He could never win the big one. Things always, you got the Des Bryant catch, you got the fumbled snap on the field goal, you got just everything you can think of, man. We just and we always seem to run into that jerk Aaron Rodgers, and he always ended up pulling off some miracle last second drive on us. He just could never get it done, poor guy. I like Romo. Matter of fact, I just watched him this weekend in a Pro-Am golf tournament. And honestly, after watching him in the Pro-Am golf, I think maybe he made the wrong choice coming out of college. He probably should have just tried to make the pro tour. He's a pretty good golfer.
Okay. Well, I thought for sure you would pick Romo, man.
And his back probably wouldn't hurt as bad as it does now. So,
all right. Well, who you pick then?
My number 5 was Mr. Dan Fouts.
Okay.
Dan Fouts, man.
Good one.
At the end of his career, he was 4th in passing touchdowns with 254, 43,040 yards for his career. The only thing, he is the Tony Romo of his day. 3-4 in playoff games. He had 12 touchdowns to 16 interceptions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But, I mean, he was a many-time Pro Bowler. He was one of the best quarterbacks of his time and could never do it, man. Could never get over that hump. Could never make it.
He was a great announcer, too.
He was a great announcer. I liked him as an announcer.
I did, too.
Honorable mentions. I'll give an honorable mention to Boomer Esiason, one of my favorite left-handed quarterbacks of all time.
Okay.
37, 920 yards when he was done, 247 touchdowns. I mean, good. He's another good announcer. I like him as an announcer.
Yeah, I did too.
And then
I didn't have any honorable mentions, but
and then my other honorable mention, and it was because I watched the 30 for 30 over him just last night, I think it was, or 2 nights ago. Steve McNair. If you get a chance to watch that, I think it's a 30 for 30. It might just be one of their things that ESPN does. But you can find it on ESPN Plus. And what a great guy, man! What a great guy. He struggled with mental health his whole life. He had a best friend. They were best friends from kindergarten to seniors in high school. His best friend got killed. Car wreck or something tragic, sudden.
Jeez.
And he just kind of withdrew into himself and became it hurt him enough that he never really trusted anybody else, for the rest of his life. And then how he died is just crazy. He ends up getting shot by his mistress.
Yeah.
She shot him once in the left temple. She shot him 4 times in the chest, and then she shot him in his other temple. Then she sat down on the couch next to him and she killed herself.
Jeez.
So
I didn't know. I didn't remember the whole story. I knew he was a gunshot, but holy moly,
yeah.
that's horrible.
And he got a DUI one time when he was quarterback for the. He was self-medicating, is what he was doing. He was in a lot of pain. He took a hit early in his career to his sternum and broke a chip out of his sternum. To the point they actually took a chip, they took a bone graft out of his hip and had to put it into his sternum to strengthen his sternum. But he got a DUI when he was younger, was just getting into the league. Had only been the quarterback he was the starter, but he wasn't there at Tennessee very long when he got the DUI and felt like he had let everybody down. They have video of him crying in the back seat not because he was in trouble, but because he had let everybody down,
Yeah, that's crazy.
He was just a great guy. He was inches away from winning a Super Bowl. His stats and everything were unbelievable. He went to Baltimore for a year and tore it up. He was a great quarterback, and he died way too soon. And so I put him as an honorable mention.
Okay. I like that. I like Steve McNair. He had a cannon as well.
Yeah, he did. And you also find out he did a whole bunch of football camps for free, like tons of football camps. And one of the football camps that he does, Vince Young is at. And they show him and Vince Young together. And Vince is young, like 14 years old, young.
I remember a story about them being close.
Yeah.
Vince Young. It's crazy. Then they ended up being teammates for a little bit, I think, when they drafted him, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they were teammates or if that's the year that he went to Baltimore.
Might have been. That might have been when they got rid of him.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
His mama found out he was traded on TV.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for the top 5.
That's it, man.
I think that's pretty good. Dan Marino, Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, Tony Romo, Fran Tarkenton, and who was your one?
Dan Fouts.
Dan Fouts. That's right.
Dan Fouts. Like Rod Dedeaux, man. You got to do your research, man. You didn't even know about Rod Dedeaux.
I did not know about Rod Dedeaux. I did see that one though. I saw it. I just didn't pick him. All right, moving on, man. Let's talk about some USA men's basketball. So first of all, they played Canada last week, and you said you watched that game. I got to watch that one. Ant-Man led us with 13 points, but Anthony Davis played really well, 10 points, 11 rebounds. But Team Canada's loaded, man.
Dude, Team Canada. I was like, wait. Which one of these is Team USA? You got Booker on there. Who else did I see? And
they got RJ Barrett, Dylan Brooks, Shea
RJ.
Yeah. Shea Gillis, Jamal Murray. Yeah, I was like, what the heck, man? Canada's loaded.
Canada, and we still ended up beating them.
We've been pretty good.
I honestly believe that my dream team, and when I say my dream team, I'm talking about the 92 dream team, okay? My dream team would have beat that team by 80, but 15-point win is pretty good. How'd they do against Australia? I didn't get to see that one.
Yeah, well, they jumped out big and were up by like 20 for most of the game, and then Australia, they came back at the end. They only won by like 6 or 8 or something like that. It was close.
Does Australia have any superstars on theirs?
They got Giddy, Yeah,
Okay.
Josh Giddey. They've
Yeah,
got Joe Ingles, the guy
Okay.
from Orlando. They got some other guys too. They're pretty good, but it's just they seem like they're still trying to learn how to play together. You know, what I mean, there's a lot of turnovers, a lot of
Well, they also
mismatch. They're just trying to learn how to play together still. You can tell they're still learning.
Well,
And
from what I saw again, like I only got to see one of these. I got to see the Canada one. For what I saw, you know, they go from looking like they're not jailed to a fast break that looks like it's something out of the All-Star game. It's
yeah,
like I don't know if it's so much not learning to play together or anything like that. I think it's just the NBA is a long season. A lot of these guys went deep into the playoffs, and I don't think that you're getting 100% out of everybody. There's so many stars on the team that I think everybody's got kind of the attitude like, well, I could probably give like 90, 85%. We'll be all right.
It does seem that way sometimes. I'll tell you who's not though is Anthony Davis. Today he
Yeah.
had 17 points, 14 rebounds.
Anthony Davis, like every time he scores, I think he just eyeballing the bench and he's eyeballing Joel Embiid. Like you won an MVP, you suck, dude.
Yeah, that's something that I did notice too. Embiid is not. He does not
Embiid,
look like he's.
dude, he's so lazy. He looks like and this is like during the season too. He is like the player in the NBA that I absolutely detest, man. He looks, and it's because he's got so much talent and he looks like he's at half speed all the time. It looks like, oh, I guess I'll go down here, and then he does that Luka thing where he runs down on defense and he's wincing and he's limping. It's like, would you?
I know.
I just get so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah, he's not. I didn't think he's played well at all. And somebody even brought up in the interview to Steve Kerr after this game something about benching him because he's been starting. They're already. I mean, people are asking, "Are you going to bench him?" Because he's not playing good.
Well, I saw Kevin Durant went down with like an ankle sprain, and
It's a calf injury or something. It said.
So it's early enough. Can't we just send him to the house and bring in another superstar?
I guess we could, but I don't think it's
I mean,
serious.
didn't they do that with the
Kawhi.
Yeah,
Leonard.
you always say his name weird.
I do say his name.
Kawhi Leonard.
Well, you should try and read it. It's not how you read that name. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, they had Kawhi go to the bench or go to the house, and they brought in Jaylen Brown, right? I mean, that's who you would bring in. You'd bring in Jaylen Brown to replace Kawhi.
No, we don't want a Finals MVP or a world champion.
Wait. They didn't bring in Jaylen Brown. Well, surely they brought in somebody of Kawhi's ability. Who'd they bring in?
They brought in Derek White.
Who?
If you're a Boston Celtics fan, you know who that is.
Oh, the little ball-headed point guard that they got. They hit some threes or whatever.
Yeah,
so wait. So they stepped over Jaylen Brown, who's on the Boston Celtics, and they picked Derek White, who's on the Boston Celtics, to come replace Kawhi.
But then there's 3 Celtics on the team,
and Jaylen Brown ain't one of them.
He's not one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, they're saying it's political. We'll see. I don't know what the real
political. Why is it political?
I don't know. I didn't get I never did. I was trying to find some stories about it, and all they said was it's political. Okay, well, why? You know, I don't know if it's his political beliefs, maybe, and I don't know why that would mean anything to him. I'm sure they're all different.
Has he been wearing a Trump hat to the Boston Garden or something? I mean, I don't get this.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Jaylen Brown, okay, and I'm probably going to make some enemies when I say this, but Jaylen Brown is the best player on the Boston Celtics. Okay. Why is Jaylen Brown not on the Olympic U.S. team? This is a much bigger deal than the Caitlin Clark bull crap that's been going on. Okay. This is This is Jaylen Brown, man. Didn't
Oh,
he
yeah.
win? Didn't he win? Jaylen Brown hates the USA. Is that the reason? Like he doesn't want to play for USA? Because that's different. If he
He
doesn't want to play for USA, then I don't want him.
I think that's part of it. But they say it's for political reasons.
Okay. Well,
Um,
the first thing I heard was that it was for defensive reasons, which is ridiculous because I watched Jalen shut down Luca pretty much in the finals. So that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Oh, Dale says he's
making it up.
Okay, I thought you had breaking news, man. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, Jalen hates the USA. Okay, he shouldn't play for the team then. But
Apparently, the USA hates him. I don't know why.
yeah, I don't get this. I
That's,
don't. Politics should not play into.
No.
I had this idea. Tell me what you think about this idea. Okay, what if instead of picking a USA basketball team, what if we just took the NBA champ on the year of the Olympics and had them play for the championship or for the Olympics? Now you'd have some players that would want to play for their home country that might be on your team.
Yeah.
You could replace them, but everybody else that's a U.S. citizen, if they won the NBA championship that year, then they play in the Olympics. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's not a bad idea. I think a lot of people would be upset because I don't think we'd win because like that Canada team.
Yeah. You don't think the Celtics could beat them?
They're saying the whole Olympics is going to be super competitive anyway. They're not saying USA's a favorite really. I mean they're a favorite, but not by much. It's going to be competitive.
We'll see. Interesting.
We'll see. I don't know about that. Sometimes that could work. I think we'd probably lose a lot.
Well, I was going to go back. I got busy this week, all kinds of stuff going on, and I was going to go back and look at the Olympic years and who won that year, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's a win. You know, that's a win.
Yeah, we could go back and look at that.
Because in '92, when we had the Dream Team, that was one of Michael's years that he won the championship. So other than Tony Kukoc, which I don't even think he was on the team that year.
No, he was on the Croatian team.
No, I don't think he was on the Bulls team that year.
No, he wasn't. I don't. No, not yet.
I don't think so.
He was
so
drafted,
that Bulls
he didn't
team
come for a couple years.
Yeah, so that Bulls team would have replaced the Olympic team, and I still think they would have won the gold because that was like one of the years where they won like 70+ ball games. I think.
No, I think that was a little bit later. That was when Rodman came around.
Oh, it wasn't.
This is pre-Rodman. That's interesting. We should look that up and talk about it sometime. So that's the only two games they played so far is Canada and Australia. And like I said, the Australia game, it was, we jumped out big, and then we let them come back in, and then we ended up winning at the end. But so it was closer than it looked. The score is closer than it really was, but we didn't dominate like we should have. I didn't think anyway. The other thing I saw was so they have the U.S. select team that came in to practice against.
Oh yeah. You want to talk? I know what you want to talk about. You want to talk about Mr. Flag, don't you?
Bro, Mr. Cooper Flag showed up and showed out on these old boys, and I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I knew he was good, but I know he'd be making plays over Bam or getting a rebound. Like it's this one play where they're showing him run up down the court. It's like he breaks up a pass on this end, gets the steal, kicks it out on the other end, runs the length of the floor, jumps, gets the rebound over a dude, and puts it back in. Over Bam. Matter of fact. It's like unbelievable. So
so I'm sitting around and I'm not doing anything, and I got home from work. I flip on Sports Center, and this Cooper Flag kid is everywhere. Okay, that's all they want to talk about is this Cooper Flag kid.
Yep.
And so they show a couple of highlights from the scrimmage or whatever, and I'm like, oh well, Big was just down here, and I still have his YouTube account, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to look up this scrimmage. So I go in and I find the scrimmage. By the way, thanks for staying logged in. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And somehow it knows, though, because it said, oh, you have logged out. So you only have this limited amount of watch time. So whatever.
My bad.
Anyway,
I'll let you know.
I had long enough to watch the scrimmage. And what I noticed in the scrimmage when Cooper got into the ball game, as soon as he got on the court, I'm like, well, that's him. Like physically, he's already an NBA player. He's got the height, he's got the length, he's got the motor skills, everything. And I noticed during the practice, the guy who's filming the scrimmage quit filming the scrimmage and started just filming Cooper Flagg as he ran up and down the court. That's how well Cooper Flagg was doing.
Yeah.
They are very unfortunate that they have this rule in place. Since he's 17, he's got to go do a year of college because he is NBA ready. The kid has got all the skills. I saw him do a drop step. I saw him post up. I saw him hit a three. I saw him rebound. I saw him get putbacks. He was definitely out hustling just about everybody on the USA team. That has a lot to do with youth. I mean, the USA basketball team's kind of old. I mean, who's the youngest guy on the team? Tatum?
Probably Ant-Man, probably.
Ant-Man? I forget about Ant-Man. Yeah. Ant-Man's
maybe.
young.
He's probably the youngest. So maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Maybe that Gillis kid from OKC, he's pretty young.
He's on Canada, though.
Oh, yeah. He was on Canada. That's right.
Yeah. I don't know. But, starting five, it was like Curry and LeBron. And, I mean, these guys are definitely older for sure.
It's team Metamucil is what it is.
Well, you'll fit right in then.
Yeah, I would.
I didn't have any other. The next game is in a couple of days. I think Serbia. I want to say. I don't know anything about them yet. But
do they have the Joker?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
I bet you they got. I bet you they got a few NBA stars. But other than the scrimmage, that's all I've got to see of Cooper Flagg. And I guess he's going to Duke. Is that correct?
He is going to Duke, yes.
He's going to Duke. And I think that's smarter than going overseas and playing somewhere, because he's definitely got that option. He could go overseas and play for a year and then get into the draft. But with all this NIL money, and freaking Duke's probably loaded with NIL money. So he'll probably do better going to college.
They do have Joker.
Yeah, I thought they had the Joker. I thought he was from Serbia.
I'm not seeing anybody else in there. This just has their starting lineup or whatever. I don't recognize any of the other guys, though, with him.
Okay.
France has got Gobert, Rudy Gobert, and Wemby.
France needs to just go and get all those kids that were drafted this year. How many kids were drafted from France this year in the draft?
No kidding. They should have done that. Yeah. So anyway, that's all for USA men's basketball. Like I said, they play again in a couple of days against, I believe it's Serbia. I hope I'm not mistaken saying that.
Well, I want to go back and see if I can find that Australia game, because I didn't get to watch that one.
It was good. I thought Curry played well, and AD played really well. Curry, they're kind of taking advantage of him on the defensive end. Like, I noticed they posted him up a lot. Like, when they would come down, they would try to post him up immediately, and that was working for him too. So I don't know about. They may have to change some stuff up for maybe more defensive lineup. You know what I mean?
I did see that the head coach is Steve Kerr.
He is. Yeah, I texted my cousin Adam. I was like, dude, why do I come out every time I see Steve Kerr? Do I think of you?
Adam does kind of look like Steve Kerr.
He looks just like him.
I wish he made
back he said everybody tells me I look like Josh Heupel. You know what he looks like?
Not off the top of my head.
He looks like him too. I was like, that's weird. You look more like Steve Kerr though. Anyway, so besides men's USA men's basketball, we got the NBA Summer League.
Yeah.
And so that's been going on. And I was going to tell you, I saw breaking news a while ago that Stefan, for the Spurs, sprained his wrist. He's out for the rest of the summer league. That could, precautionary, whatever. I think they just, this guy's shown he can be able to play. Let's not make him play. But I don't know. We'll see. It could just be precautionary. It could be that he's actually hurt for a while. We'll see. So just some of the stuff that stood out to me. One is I tried to tell y'all about Reed Shepherd. Tried to tell y'all, and he is going off. He went off again. 22 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and a block.
I told you that if he fell to the Spurs, I was going to become a Spurs fan, but he fell to the dadgum Rockets.
Yeah.
You know the Rockets are going to screw it up, man. The Rockets screw it up every time.
We'll see. Cam Whitmore, who plays for the Rockets too, actually was the leading scorer with 25 points, 8 rebounds, and I saw something about they were going to pull him from Summer League too, I think. And then I watched the Orlando game again, and
who's the big white 26-year-old guy that your center for Orlando? Older guy.
Yeah, Huff.
Dude, I like that guy. I like that guy.
He plays hard, doesn't he? But he's not even on our roster. He's not. He's like
he freaking got.
Centers.
He came down the middle of the lane, and Anthony Black threw him a beautiful pass, and then he just dunked it hard and turned around and screamed and punched the mat, and they gave him a technical.
Oh, wow.
He was like pumped up about the dunk he just got, and they gave him a technical. I was like, all right. One of the biggest problems you got in Summer League is that you also have Summer League officials. And they're being graded, and they're trying to make the big show just like all these kids are. And so, oh my gosh, we had one ref. I can't remember. It was a San Antonio game. He must have called a moving screen like 6 times in a row. I thought both head coaches were about to lose their mind.
Yeah. Well, I thought they played well. Anthony Black played well. Jet Howard played well. They need both those guys to be able to contribute this next season. And then their new pick, De Silva, playing great.
He played great. Excellent. Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of Franz Wagner. I mean, they're like Twinkies almost. So he's a better shooter, which is what we needed. So he looks like the real deal, though. So
that number 1 pick for Atlanta, Ricochet or whatever, dude, he looked good. He looked like maybe he deserved the number 1 pick. He looked pretty good out there. Also, I thought San Antonio, the first game that I watched them in that California Classic, I made some comments about expected more from the San Antonio Spurs. I thought they looked crappy. They've looked a lot better in their last couple ball games. This point guard they got, that Bouye, that kid needs a contract somewhere. That kid can play. I like that Bouye kid. They got a couple of kids on their team that are I call them kids. You know, they're young men, but they're kids. When you're 48, everybody that's below 40 is a kid to you. So
I thought the Spurs, I think, will be better next year. You know what I mean? I think they added some pieces. I don't know if they'll be title contenders or whatever, but they're going to be much improved. So it should be fun to watch too, with CP and CP3 and Wemby. Yeah, it should be fun to watch too. So the other one that stood out to me was Terrence Shannon Jr. for the Timberwolves. Man, he blew up both games. Dillingham didn't have a very good first game, but the second game he came out on fire. Right off the bat, he was like hitting threes and did a drive to the lane for a layup and stuff. He looked really good, and then he kind of went cold for a while. But you can see the flashes. 14 points, 8 assists, that's good. That's what they're going to need him to do if he gets to play, which they're talking like they are going to need him to play. So I like Minnesota. I think they're going to be pretty good next year too.
Well, they were pretty good this year. I mean,
Yeah, they were. They were.
I mean,
I think they got a steal out of the draft. They got 2 steals out of the draft. So we'll see if they get to play. But well,
I tell
Dillingham's
you,
going to play. So
I got to see the big guy Zach Edey play for Memphis, and I'm telling you what, I think there are about 8 teams in front of him that might have made a mistake. That
yeah,
kid's just so big. I just don't know how you didn't take a chance on him.
yeah,
He's just got so much size compared, and even standing next to other grown men who are in the NBA, it's like that dude's big. He's just
no kidding. Yeah, I don't know why he fell 2-time player of the year. I don't know. Whatever. Because he doesn't jack threes, I guess. That's whatever.
but
Anyway,
it's not like he's only been playing ball for like 6 years. It's not like that's not something he can develop. He can't
well,
develop.
it's great that he's at Memphis too, because he doesn't have to score.
Yeah, exactly.
All you
All
gotta
he's
do is rebound and protect the rim. That's all you gotta do.
rebound, protect the rim, and get ready for some alley oop dunks from Ja. Ja's going to throw
Yep.
you some. He's going to dribble, drive, and throw it up. Go get it.
Yep. Yeah, I like them too.
And he's only got to get on his
Unwatched.
He's only got to get on his tiptoes to dunk the basketball. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Anybody else stand out to you? That was the ones that stood out to me the most, especially Reed Shepherd. He's playing lights out, man. He's really good. 5 steals, man.
I think you brought up most of the
Crazy.
ones that I spotted. Reed Shepherd, De Silva. I thought the last game I watched, Orlando and New Orleans. AB didn't have the best game, but he was still doing well to facilitate, and I saw him get a few rebounds, and he made a couple of outlet passes that were really nice, but
Mhm.
he's struggling with his shot, and if he wants playing time, he is gonna have to get his shot going, man.
Yeah, he's proved he can play defense, so that's good. But you're right; he's got to work on his offense. And I heard him talking, and they said they wanted him to be more aggressive, and he was that first game. He was way more aggressive, and his shots were falling. So we'll see. I think he'll be all right. I think he's going to get to play some. I don't know if he'll start, but I think he should get to play quite a bit.
Well, I think there are a few players that are playing for teams right now that other teams are looking at. Like I don't know how you don't put Huff on a bench somewhere, man. The guy plays so hard, and he seems to be in the right spot at the right time lots of times.
Yeah, he probably end up getting a deal out of it somewhere.
I hope he does.
I don't know how that works. I mean, he must play for the G League team, right? So
I know. It irritates me because
the problem is there's 3 people ahead of him.
Yeah.
That are
That's
already
what I'm
signed
saying.
and,
That's what I'm saying. Like if there's another team out there, that's what I would be doing. I'd be searching everybody else's teams.
Yeah.
And I just think the guy plays hard. And then I see somebody like a Bouye or a Huff or a De Silva or somebody like that. And the only thought that goes through my mind is Bronny James is sitting on $4 million.
Yeah. I know. I got in trouble on Twitter this week for talking bad about him. So
I'm not talking bad about him. I'm just saying he ain't worth $4 million contract, man. He should be in the summer league and in the G League, and he
will be.
But he's gonna make $4 million while he's doing it. It just irritates me. It irritates me.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation there.
And then because of who his daddy is, it's like every sports guy out there, Skip Bayless, everybody just protecting him. Just like,
man. Skip's the worst. Skip is the worst. That's who I got in trouble with. Was I commented on something he said.
I'm telling you right now, okay, and I don't know how many Cowboy fans feel this way, but I feel this way. We wish Skip Bayless was not a Cowboys fan. Okay, we don't like Skip Bayless being a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
we had no choice in it, and we would trade him in a heartbeat.
I bet you could work out a trade. I don't much care for Skip either. I think he just does stuff to just get people talk. He says he don't. I don't know if he means anything he says. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, if he does mean half the stuff he says, he's one of the dumbest individuals I've ever
I
seen.
don't know. I don't know. I think he just does it to get a rise out of people. But
Well, he doesn't
anyway,
mean
that was it for the NBA Summer League stuff. There's more games tonight, so
man, there are games everywhere. Let me tell you.
yeah, I want to try and find some of that Peach Jam stuff because that stuff really interests me. I like that stuff. So before we get out, though, we want to talk about our mental health and make sure that everyone's taking care of themselves out there. If you need help or need someone to talk to, there's a national hotline you can call, 988. Please don't do life alone. If you need someone to talk to, please get help. Or if you know someone else that needs help, go be their help. Go talk to them. But yeah, don't. If you need help, 988 is the national hotline number.
Yeah, mental health is a real issue. I think it was on display for the whole nation to see this week.
Yes, it was.
There are crazy people out there. I don't know if you like the man or if you dislike the man, but taking a shot at somebody to fix the situation is a mental problem. Okay. That's not how we're supposed to do things. So if you know somebody that's struggling, or if you're struggling, or you just, you need somebody to talk to, call 988. There are professionals there. They'll talk to you. They'll stay on the phone with you for 24 hours if you want to talk for 24 hours. They do multiple languages, Spanish, English. I think they do French, some other things. They will talk to you. 988 is the number.
Yeah. Get some help. Don't do life alone. Right.
Don't do life alone. That's a great tagline, man.
And appreciate everybody watching in, and hit that share, like, all that stuff if you want to. If you don't, that's fine too. We're not gonna, no pressure on us. But we appreciate it if you do, and we will talk to you next time. Peace and love.
Peace.
Thanks for watching our show. Remember to subscribe for more shows on the network. Smash the like button, share, and comment.